the process from training for war and then actually going to war, how was that? Did it actually prep you? And did you feel like, okay, like shit's real and I'm ready?
So that's a really good question. Because I felt like, and it's kind of what we're seeing now with EOD2, where you're having the guys that are training dudes that have never been to war. Right. It was kind of that way my first team and my first workup, right? Like a lot of the dudes that were at the training units and whatnot had never been to war, and they were still kind of teaching the old ways, the Daryl Hoovers. Yeah. I'm going to name drop like a motherfucker, dude. I don't care. But I didn't know, right? You're a new guy. You didn't know. Yeah. Luckily, the group of dudes I had training me, and even though I didn't get along with Steve, he was really good at training us. The Ians and all those dudes, the Scotty Daytons, like those guys were really good at training us. So that was great preparation for going to war. But again, you can't, it's like completely not what you think it's going to be. Like war is different than what you build it in your head. Maybe that's true for everything. Before you went to EOD school, you had built up this like what it's going to be. Yeah, it's not the same. Right. Before you go to a SEAL team, you build up what those guys are going to be. It's not the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think war was the same thing. It was a little different, but man, some of the coolest ops I've ever been on in my life were in Iraq doing DAs at night. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know some guys, they get there and just the way things are rolled out, it could be months on deployment before they actually take care of their first IED. Other guys, I know a few of my friends that never had to deal with a live, like an emplaced IED. Sure. Dealt with live IEDs because like somebody came up and was like, "Hey, can you here?"
Yeah, that's like, we all have that story. Yeah.
Where was your first experience in there?
So, ironically, Iraq, because we were doing DAs at night, we had that element of surprise. We really didn't roll up on any IDs. There was a couple, maybe two on target that I found that weren't hooked up. You know what I mean? So the IED threat was way lower on that deployment from what we were doing. The guys that were getting hit were the ones that were rolling out broad daylight during the day, and those trucks were getting hit. Yeah. There was a couple of suicide bombers and shit like that, but we didn't, as a team 2 in Baghdad, we didn't have that. The IEDs came my Afghanistan deployment. Yeah. And that was crazy, dude. That was almost an IED like every other day.
Really?
Yeah. And one day I had 11 IEDs.
Jeez.
But and I'm sure we'll talk about that deployment a lot.